Is it visible? I have shared my screen. Okay, fine. So I'll tell you that what is file system in Java that we can use in our application, and it is very important part because if you go for core Java coding, or if you go for any uh, part of the coding that is that you use, in which you use the Java. So this part of the file system accessing is very important. For example, you are coding on uh, on the advanced Java part, that is J2EE, or you are using Java coding for Android application development, or you are using for the core Java. So this file system accessing is very important, in which you will learn that how to access the files and perform some operations related to the directory, files, naming, size. So all the things are available into the file system. And to do this, Java gives you, and it provides um, a package in which you will find classes. Only the thing you need to do is just import those classes into your um, source file, and after that you will be able to write the code. So there are so many methods. First thing, okay. So only the need is you need to learn and implement those methods. I'll try to explain maximum methods over here, and I'll try to explain and with the example also, and it will help you that when you go for writing any file system related coding, so you will not get any problem. So for that, I'll open my slide. Let me open that. Or can we do a session in the morning also? Means morning in IST, that is 8 a.m. IST. Can we do that? Okay. So one more schedule. Okay. It's still breaking. So tomorrow we will have two session. Tomorrow we will have two session on Sunday. Okay. Um, 8 a.m. IST. Okay. And 8 p.m. IST. Will it be fine? So that we can cover more on the core Java. So our course will, the thing that we want to cover, it will be covered uh, in a few weekends only. That's why. So fine. So what is file system using java.io? First thing you need to remember, and uh, when you are going to access the file system, just understand this point. You are going to access only the file system. You are not going to perform the reading and writing operation. Okay, we are not going to perform to read the data from a file. We are not going to perform to write the data onto the file. Through this, the whole thing that I will discuss in this session, we are going to access the file system. So what is the file system actually? The file system means um, the things that is related to the files, or you can say the attributes of the files. Attributes means the name of the file, the size of the file, the type of the file. So these are the attributes of the file. That can we read the file? The file is read only or write only, the write protected. We can create the directories, we can create the files, but we will not going to write any data onto the file. We are not going to uh, read any data from the file. First thing, the whole thing that I'm going to discuss about only the files properties. Got it? To use this, Java gives you provides one package in which you will find the classes, and the package name is java.io. So first of all, you need to import this package and the class that you need to do these kind of operations. So when to use this file system? Use to check the path name that is encapsulated against the physical location system and see whether it corresponds to a real file or directory. So this is one line explanation. When should we use this? So we should use to check the path name that is encapsulates against the physical file system and see whether it corresponds to a real file directory or not. Can be used to create a file stream object. Okay, so this the thing that I'm telling you here, this can be used, we can use it to create a file stream object. We can use it as to create file stream object. What is file stream object? File stream object means whenever the term stream will come, okay, whenever the stream will come, then it means that you are going to perform the reading writing operation. So this can be used to create the stream, to perform the input output. Okay, but the main purpose is to use this one. So how to create the object of the file? So we can create the file object by using these constructors. One is file, and the path you can pass over here. This is the string path, or you can pass the file dir and the file file. So two objects of the file type you can pass over here. One that points to the directory and second one that points to the file name. So you can use this one also. But the maximum time we use the first one, in which we pass the string path. And as we know that Java supports um, platform independency. Means when you compile your code, then that bytecode can be run on any system. As we know that the Java is platform independent, but one thing more is there, that we also know that the file systems path is also a platform dependent thing. So what do I mean to say? Just look at here, this one. Okay, so look at this path. As you know, this C colon, I hope is it visible, C colon slash user slash HP slash desktop and new folder. Okay, so this file system and this file system's path is for Windows, the operating system I'm using. Okay, and if you are using another operating system, then there you can find the path separator as the forward slash, isn't it? Okay, so if we are writing a code in which we are passing a folder to create a file object by writing this one, So it is fine for your Windows operating system. That will work on Windows operating system very fine, but it will not work on other operating system which uses different separator. For example, this is also a separator of the file system, and this is also a path separator, that is colon. So what we need to do is we have to make the path that we provide to create the file object, it should also be portable. Means whenever the program should execute on any platform, then in place of the separator, it should be replaced by the operating system's path separator. Are you getting my point? Okay, so to do this, to make a path portable, Java provides a few things. Look at here. So there are four constants that you can use to make path portable. So when we write C colon file dot separator, this one, so when it will run at the Windows operating system, then it will put a backward slash, and when it will run on the different platform, then it will automatic pick the path separator of that file system. Suppose you are using Linux, then it will automatic pick the separator of the Linux operating system. If you are using the Windows, then it will pick the Windows path separator. So now file object, this file object and the path that you are passing is now portable. Okay, so this is a very fine thing that we can write the path separator statically. Okay, but make sure that for the operating system that you are using, you are creating that file object, it is only running on that operating system. It will go on the other operating system, you will get error. There are two things that is important in terms of path. As you can see, let me open one thing more. This one. Desktop. Not bad. Okay, so look at this. Suppose we are creating a file object, so we can write file f is equal new file, and we can pass the path of the file that we want to create an object. Okay, so let's suppose I want to create the path of this folder as a file object. So I'll copy it and I'll paste over here like this. And one more thing we can do there to create this object is we can write like file f is equal new file, and we can pass this one. This one. Okay, we can write to create, because a folder we can pass direct over here, or what are the ways I'm just telling you. New file, the string xyz, okay, slash ABC, this one. So the path you pass over here, the path could be of two types. How many types? Two. One is called the absolute path and second one is called the relative path. So you can pass anyone. The absolute path you can pass, or you can pass the relative path also to create a file object. So the difference between absolute and relative path is when the path name, when the path name that you write into the constructor starts from its root directory. Okay, the path name that starts from the root directory to the destination folder or file, this is called the absolute path. This one is called absolute path. So it will go to the root directory, then it will search the next folder, that is users. After that it will go to the HP, then desktop, then new folder. Okay, so this is called absolute full path. When you pass any path name in which the root directory is not available, for example, in this case that C is the root directory in Windows. So since C or D or E or F directories are not mentioned here, so this path is called relative path. This will be called relative path. Okay, so this tells you, this one, that where is my origin, this folder. So the origin is from C to new folder. So it will create an object that will point to this new folder because it knows the full path. But the relative path that you write into it, so where it will search this new folder, it could be anywhere in your system. So it will search at the location where your class file is generated. Getting my point? The class file generated, where you have put your source file. So it will relate its path to that location where you have saved your file. Suppose if you have saved this file at location desktop, so it will automatically pick that this folder is at location desktop. Same location it will search. Okay, if you have saved your file at a folder, in a folder that is XYZ in C drive, and if you write a path that is A, so it will search the path at location in C drive and within that folder in which you have saved your source file. So it will relate its file with your location of your saved file. So this is the relative path. And in absolute path, we write the whole path of your folder. Is it clear that we can pass the path in two ways? One is absolute and second one is the relative path. Got it? Okay. So this one. So the path name used to create a file object has two parts, an optional prefix, a series of the names separated by the system's default separator character for the path names. Under the Microsoft Windows, the prefix for the path on a local drive will be a string defining the drive such as C:// or C://. Under Unix, the prefix will be a forward slash, as we know. So to make it as portable, we use some constants that is already available in your file class that you can access with the name of file. These are the static and constant. A path that include a prefix is called absolute path, and since it includes a prefix, it is not platform independent. Prefix means when you write uh, from the root directories. Okay, as we know, C, D, E, F, like these are the root directories um, of the Windows platform, but these directories you will not find in Linux operating system, even on Mac OS. There you will find root directories like bin, like var. Okay, so a path that includes a prefix is called absolute path, and since it includes a prefix, it is not platform independent. So you cannot make these as platform independent. I hope you understand this point, that why we cannot make absolute path as uh, portable. Okay, now relative path. So relative path will always start from its current location where you have saved your file, so you can make this path as portable. So relative path, a path without a prefix, since a relative path doesn't involve the system's dependent prefix, it works across different operating systems. If any system specific convention is used to specify the path, we will no longer have a system independent path specification. Okay, so this thing we have already discussed. So we should not mention the system specific path separator. We should use the path separator that is provided by your file class. So this one is recommended, that is the relative path, to make the path portable, as well as to create a folder, to create a directory, to create a file, because it travels with your projects also. So now come to this part. So accessing the system's properties. So there are so many methods. Now we are going to learn those things. So after creating the file object, you will get so many methods by which you can uh, check and test the things like the name, what is the name of your file. So return the name of the file or the directory without path. Get name. You can get the name of the directory or the file name to which the file object is pointing. Okay. Get path, it will return the string object. The return type of get path is return the string object containing the path of the file object, including the file or directory name. So these two methods are important. Okay. So when you need to perform, suppose the filter, and you want to filter that your application should show only those files whose extension, whose name is something like this. So you can use the get name. Okay. An extension is only the .java, extension is only the .class, extension is .jpg. And you have seen that when you play the audio um, in your audio player, it shows only the mp3 files, which extension and which can be played by your audio applications. Okay. So how do we get only the audio files in our application? Actually, in the background, the code is written that filters all the files which extension is .mp3. Okay, so only those files will be listing in um, your media player, which can be played by that player. No other file will be available in media player. So these things can be done by using file object. So let's see and execute it. So let me open the NetBeans. It will save our time when we'll write the code. Now you can switch and code your so you can design your source code on any IDE. Either you can use Eclipse or you can use the NetBeans. So the thing that you need to remember, and in fact, you don't need to remember, because you just need to do one thing: use all the method at least one time, so that you can understand that which method uh, works in which way. So if any situation comes into your coding, then you can remind that this method can work and this method can solve my problem. So I'll open this one. Uh, okay, Core Java Online to this one. Okay, so I'm going to create a new fresh Java class. Okay, I'll write that file system demo, and I will put this class into the com dot another folder, that is Lari. Finish. So you can see here, when you expand it, you can see another package is created in your source package folder. So in one source package folder, you can have as many as number of the package, and in which you can create the file, the classes as you require. Okay, to here. Now create public static void main, create a file object. File f is equal new file. Okay, and you can pass the path. So I'm going to create the path by using this one, as you can see. Okay, so I have passed the new folder path over here. Now system.out.println f dot get name. Okay, system.out.println f dot get path. So let's run it. Right click and run, and the shortcut is shift plus F6. So the file name to which the F is pointing, as you can see here, it is new folder. It could be directory or it could be a file, so no problem at all. So new folder, the last one. What is the path of this uh, object, this file object that it is pointing? The path is C users HP desktop new folder, as you can see here. So here is your description: get name, get path. And if you want to check that the path is absolute or path is relative, so there is a method is absolute. So it returns true if the file object refers to an absolute path name, and false otherwise. So if you want to check that the path you have passed to uh, create the file object is absolute, or that path is relative, you can use this method. So let's see that what is the output in this case. So f dot is absolute, and when we will run, then it says that it is true, because we are creating the file object by using this object and this path, and this path is called absolute path because we are starting the path from root directory. If you want to get the parent of the pointing object, okay, so returns a string object containing the name of the parent directory of the file or directory represented by the current file object. Okay, and one thing that you need to just note down that point is, when a file object is creating using a relative path, the get parent will return null. Okay, so if you are using the relative path, then it will give you null. In this case, in this example, we are creating the file object by passing absolute path. So we'll definitely get the parent name. So if you want to know that what is the parent name in which this file is located, so you can get by get parent. So the parent folder of this new folder is desktop. So you will get the path of its parent. Get parent or get parent file. There are two things. So the difference between the get parent and get parent file is both will return the parent. The difference is it will return the string object. Remember this one. And when you call this method, it will return the object in the form of file. Getting? This method will return the file object, and this method will return the string object. So when you call this method, you will store the path into the string object. When you call this method, you will store the return object into the file's reference. Okay. Let me show you. That is f dot get parent. Okay, that is f dot get parent file. Let me print this one. So there is no that you can see there is no difference. Okay, the difference will come in this manner. A string s is equal, or we can write parent is equal f dot get parent. Okay, and when you call this method, then you will write file parent1 is equal f dot get parent. So as you can see, this is the difference. When you call this method, it will give you the string. When you call this method, it will direct give you the file object. So this is your parent, and this is your parent1. Okay, so the difference in terms of returning object. So just remember these methods when we will go into the actual coding, and definitely in advanced Java, we are going to use these things. Equals file returns true if both file object refers to the same file. What is mean by, suppose you have created two file objects, that is file f1 is equal new and file, and this f1 is also pointing to the same file object. So in this case, if you call f dot equals f1, then it will return true because both are pointing to the same object. Okay. Now, this is your task to use equals. The thing I will leave, you will check yourself. If you get any problem, then just let me know. After that, I'll explain the things. Now, querying about your files and directories. Suppose you have created one file object, and now you need to perform some operation on this folder. Okay. So first thing you first of all check that the file I'm creating, the object I'm creating, that the location, that the new folder is in existence or not. First time you are executing this code and you have passed this file path is available, and after 10 days you are executing the same file and by mistake this folder is deleted. So what happened in that case? In that case, you will get exception that the file or directory is not available. So before proceeding to write any query, what we should do, we should query about that. If this is in existence, then the code should execute. Otherwise, show the message to the user that the desired and the given path or given directory is not available, isn't it? Okay. So to check whether the file or directory is in existence or not, then we can use a method that is called exist, and it returns true if the file or directory referred by the file object exists and false otherwise. To check, how to check this one, just look at here. I'll show you only by printing. You can use in your logic. So f dot exist. So definitely we'll get output as true because it is in existence. What if I write new folder 1? So if I write new folder 1, then you can see that it returns false. It means new folder 1 is not in existence. So if we want to create, suppose we want to create some file into this folder, we want to get all the records, all the files that is available into this folder, so we can write all the code over here. Okay, so before proceeding to do those things, what should we do? We should write like this: if this is in existence, then code should execute. Otherwise do another thing. Okay, so in this case, if this folder is by mistake is deleted, so in this case else will be execute, and it will show the appropriate message that the file is directory is not in existence or is deleted, or whatever the message you want to show. Okay, so exist is very important method and is used frequently. Again, another method is called is directory. So this time, just look at here. When we create any file object, we can pass the path, and that path can be of any folder or that path can be of any files. Okay, so come to this folder, that is new folder, and in which you can see that there are so many files are available. I'll take one file name, that is child.class. Just look at here, one file name, that is child.class, this one. So now this file will point to this. Let me check that this file in existence or not. So we'll check with the help of, okay, let me print this one, f dot exist. Okay, so yes, child.class in existence. You want to check that the file to which the f is pointing is file or directory. So you can check by the method that is called is directory or is file. So it will return again, it will return either true or false according to the pointing file. So let me check, that is f dot is directory. So what will be the output? F is pointing to the directory or f is pointing to the file. So let me check. As we can see, false. It means the f is pointing, the path is not a folder, it is a file. Or you can check this one by is file method. Okay, so as you can see, one is returning false and second one is returning true. To query about that the file object is pointing to the file or file object is pointing to the directory, you can use these two methods. Another method is hidden file. can read, can write. Okay, so is hidden means sometimes what we do, we hide our files from the user by going to the property of the file. By right clicking, you can go to the properties and you can hide this one. Okay, so if you want to get only those files which one is hidden, to show the hidden files. Okay, and if you use mobile phones, then you can find that you can hide the files by go to the menu and just click on it, and it will hide your file. When you want to unhide, and there is a menu option which asks that show me only hidden files. So when you click on it, actually in the background this code runs, this code. If that file is hidden, if is hidden, then show me, list that file name. So to check the property that the file's property is hidden or not, you can use is hidden. Okay, sometimes you see that on a file you cannot read sometimes, and few files you cannot read. Okay, so we can make that file as read only or write only, protecting. So we can check those properties by calling the method can write and can read. And suppose the user which accessing and trying to do this one, so both method, the can read and can write method, can throw the security exception user hasn't read or write access. So when we create the users, we provide some accessibility that you can read the file, you can write the file. So in that case, you can get the exception of security type. So these type of the queries we can ask from our file also. Another one is get absolute path and get absolute file. So this is also a very, as you can see the name and you can understand that what is mean by the get absolute path and get absolute file. The difference between get absolute path and get absolute file is it returns the path. Okay, it returns the path in the form of a string. It returns the path in the form of the file. Similarly, this one, get parent and get parent file. So it returns the name of the parent directory in the form of a string. It returns the parent name in form of file object. Similarly, this will return the absolute path of your file in the form of a string. This will return the file path in in the form of file object. Okay, directory or file referenced by the current file object. So these two methods you can use to get the absolute path of any file. F dot get absolute file or path thing you want to use. As you can see, this is the absolute path. Another one is getting the file list. So there is a method that list. You can get all the files that which is available into the directory. This method will throw an exception of the type security if access to the directory is not authorized. If you want to see all the files list which is available into a directory, then you can use this method, that is list. And as you can see, it returns the string array. A string array. So suppose this is your code and this points to the folder that is new folder. So if you want to show the list of the files, first thing what you have to do, first of all, you need to check that in which I am going to write that code, that f dot list or whatever the name of your file object, by which I'm calling the list method. For example, f dot list, this one. So list means the files can be inside only within a directory. A file cannot have another file. Directory can have more than one file and other types also. So first of all, what we will check, the file object is pointing to the directory or not. If it is directory, okay, then show me the list. Otherwise, if it returns false, it means it is not pointing to the directory. So the list cannot be shown. So look at here. I'm going to write that this string is pointing to, sorry, a string array, and list is equal this one. Now you can get the name of all files by iterating it. So for a string x colon list, and here you can get all the name of file. Just look at this code. So here you can see in the folder we have these types of files. Got it? So if you want to show that how many files are available in the directory, and show me the list of those files, you can write this one by using only one method, that is called list. Okay, and if it is pointing to a file, for example, that is child.class, look at here. Okay, so now this is not pointing to any directory, so this code will not execute. So obviously, if the file object is pointing to a directory, then we should get the list. Otherwise, this code should not execute. So we will first check, then after we will write our code. So I hope this point is also clear, that how to show the list of the files from a directory. Come to the next. This is also available, that file name filter you can pass here. So I'll show you with the example file name filter. File name filter is interface in which actually file filter is an interface in which one method is available by which you can filter your files. Okay. Or if you don't want to use this, then you can do one more thing. Just look at here. This will show you all the files which is available into the new folder. Look at here. Can we see this? Can you see this? This one. The pptx, the class files, the docx files, the xlsx files, the .java files, all the files which are available into the directory, it will show you. But I need to get in the file's name, only those file names which has the extension .class. Are you getting my point? Which has the extension only .class file. This is the question. There is a small part of the program in which you need to write that list only those files from the directory which has the extension .class. Are you getting my question? So what we need to do here, to get only those file names which extension is dot class. Tell me, do you have any answer? Anyone? Anyone? So how can we achieve this one? If you don't know, just write no. Otherwise, okay. Meng, can you do this? Sorry, getting my question, Meng, that what I need to do in my code. Again, still not able to hear? Yes, core. I need to filter and I need to show only those files which has the extension dot class. And you will write the code in core as well as the advanced. And if you are using the Android application development, then you will write the same code. It doesn't matter you are using in core or in advanced or in Android. Wherever you are using the Java, you will use the you will write the same code. Okay, so you will use the regular expression. So just tell me that what will be the regular expression to filter this one, what I need to do to write here. Just tell me in your chat box. I'll just copy and paste your regular expression. Yes, this is the one way you can do this by using the regular expression. In short, we say that regex. Okay, okay, fine, no problem, Ming. Just look at this small piece of code. What I will do, I will write like this: if X will contain the names of the files every time, isn't it? So what I will do is, if X dot, there is a method that is called ends with dot class. If it ends with dot class, then print the name of that. Okay. So if the file name is ends with dot class, and this is the method of the string, and I told you that use all the methods of the strings. So now we'll check that. Can we get only those file name which ends with the dot class? Yes, we can get that file. Can you see this? I hope is it visible? So there are so many things that you can perform with the file system. So that's why I'm telling you, the file system is actually the thing by which you can get the attributes. We are not going to perform the reading writing operation. The thing which is related to the file system operation we can do by using file object, this one. So only one line you need to write, that if x is ends with the dot class, you can filter this one, or you can pass any extension. And suppose you are creating an application which plays the media files, then you can write the extension of the media that is supported by your player. So it will search all the directories which is available in your system, and it will show you, it will, yes, it's a built-in method in a string class. Yes, ma'am. Uh, so there is another one method that is starts with, also there. Okay. So yes, it starts with. It starts with. If that file starts with this character, if this file starts with this string, then you can write also that method. So there are so many methods in a string class. Only the thing that you have to explore. Everyone, I'm telling you, everyone. So so suppose you are creating any application that supports only the file which can be I'm taking the example of the media file. Okay, media player. So media player can play only those file which has the coded in medias, like video files, audio files. So definitely when I'll will search our whole file system, we will show only those file which can be played by your media player. So there we will provide the filter that if the file name ends with .mp3, if the file name ends with mp4, if the file name ends with avi, then show the list into the media player, and rest of the file just leave it, because the .java file cannot be played by your media file, isn't it? So we perform the filtering. Now come to this part again one more time. So these methods I'll explain, just wait. Another method that is list roots, this one, and it returns, look at here, the return type is file array. Okay, so returns an array of the file object referring to the root directories in the current file system. And if you will execute this list roots, then you will get different types of the root directories on different file system. What do I mean to say? I mean to say is, if you run this list roots, then on a Windows platform, then you will get C, D, E, F drives. These are the root directories. If you run on your Linux, or you run this list roots on Mac OS, then you will get different root directories name. Got it? So I'm going to show you that list roots, how to use this one. So I'm going to delete this one. Is equal, actually it returns the file array. So we'll store into the file array, and this is file dot list roots. It's a static method. And as we know, the static method can be accessed with the file name direct. We don't need to create any object. So we can get the object by calling this method. Now I iterate this one by using for each loop, file x in every f. Okay, and system.out.println x. Let's see that how many root directories in my file system. So I have C drive, C as a root, D, E, F, and G. So to verify, to go into my PC, C, D, E, F, and G. Just look at it. Okay, this is the C, this is D, E, F, and G drives. Fine. So to get all the roots of your file system, you can use this one. Again, this is the method, very simple. It will return the last modified date of your file or directory, and it will return in the long form. Now you need to convert that long value into the date by dividing 365 multiply by 12, 24 and 60. So you can convert into the date. So this will return in the long form, long modified. So it will return the date of your date of your modified file. Now come to this file filter. Not now. We'll wait few more minutes, then we'll discuss. Okay, creating and modifying files and the folders. Okay, and this is important. Why? Suppose let's see take a scenario. Okay, you have created one application that runs on, means that is the web application, fine, and you have a page in which a user can upload the photos. Okay, or we can take the example of do you use Facebook? Anyone? I hope everyone uses the Facebook, but one time I would just want to confirm. Okay, so Hinduja use okay, so Ming is not using Facebook. So do you use any social site? So you use only WhatsApp. Okay. Okay, WeChat do you use? Okay. So what happens sometimes? Suppose you need to upload a file, suppose pictures, that is images, and you had party somewhere, and you need to upload those pictures of the party onto the Facebook, and you need to and you want to actually separate those files to put into a folder which say that it contains only those images which is related to those that party. So what you will do, definitely, first of all, you will create a folder, okay, where you will create a folder on that website, and after that you will upload that files into that folder. Are you getting my point? What do I mean to say? First of all, what you will do, you will create a folder, and you will put the name of the folder with the name of party, and after that you will upload the images into that folder. Actually, what you are doing, you are creating a folder remotely from your system to the server, isn't it? And in case of this situation, just come to here, if you want to create a folder over here, what you will do, you will right click over here, go to the new, and you can create a new folder. Fine. So you have the command over here that you can create the folder by wizard, but the server which is located somewhere else, you are not able to do this kind of operation. So it means we need to execute a code that can create a folder, okay, that can create a folder at that location. So for that, Java gives you one method which is called mkdir, and I hope you all are aware with the mkdir. Mkdir means make directories, that we use on the command prompt or terminal to create any directory. So if you want to create a directory, then through the code, then you can use mkdir in your code. So let's see that how to create, let me close it, how to create a folder. Where is my NetBeans? This one. Now come to this part. New folder, and here I want to create a folder mkdir with the name of xyz into it. Okay, so when this folder should be created, if this folder is not in existence, isn't it? So how do we check that xyz is in existence or not? So one thing we can do is if f dot exist not, if this is not in existence, then f dot mkdir, then create a file or folder. Okay, and it returns true if it will create, otherwise it will return false. So mkdir will return the boolean value, so we can write into the if also. If it returns true, then we can show a message to the user. Okay, the folder name is created successfully, the folder is created successfully. Okay, so we can write directory created, run this file. So directory created, so this message is coming from your application. Let's see one more time. I'm going to execute this one. So now we are not seeing any message. Come to that folder, that let's see that folder has been created or not. So new folder, go to the xyz. You can see in the new folder xyz has been created. Got it? To create any folder through your Java code, you can use the mkdir method. Another method is also there that says mkdirs, and we read it as make directories. Make directories means create directories within directories in a recursive manner. Within xyz, I want to create a folder f1, and within f1 I want to create another folder that is f2. Fine. If this is not in existence, create this directory. So I'm calling mkdir. Let's see that this folder is created or not. So I'm going to execute this one, and as you can see, this folder is not created. If you want to verify, just go to the xyz and you can see this is empty. Okay, so these two folders are not in existence, so make directory will not able to create more than one level of the directory. It is not capable to do this kind of things. So if you want to create more than one directory recursively, then you can call make directories. So it will call, it will execute, and when it will execute, it will create more than one directory at a time recursively. So this is, let's see, so you can see a directory created. To verify this one, this is xyz. In xyz, f1 is created, and in f1, f2 is created. So this is the difference between mkdir and mkdirs. Okay. If you want to create a new file with the with your code, then you can use create new file. Create a new file, empty file with the path name defined by the current file object, if and only if the specified directory already in existence. So come to the coding. This is code. So within a folder F2, I want to create a file abc.txt. So I'll call only f dot create new file, and when you call this one, just look at here. I hope this message is visible to all of you. It says unreported exception, IO exception must be caught or declared to be thrown. Means when we use this create new file, it will throw a checked exception. Checked means you need to write within a try catch, or you need to mention the throws clause. So till now, I have used already try catch. How to use throws? Just writing that throws IO exception. Now you can see this is now fine. Go to here and run this and look at here. That one file with the empty abc.txt is created. So to create a file, empty file, you can use create new file method. To set that file as read only, so you can write set read only, it will set the read only. Rename a file to the file, you can use this method. So use this method by yourself. Rename, read only, and another one is let me, okay, no, it is not required. So this is the file filter and the file name filter. So before when I need to discuss this point, but one thing is not covered yet. So make a note that file name filter I'll explain after completion of nested classes, because there is one. Let me check that. Can we do without a nested class? Yes. This is the file filter that is implemented. So Boolean accept. And it can call. Okay, so we'll discuss later this one. Okay, have we discussed the array? I'm not remembering this one that we have discussed the array. Array is not discussed yet, isn't it? Array. No, we didn't. Yes. I forgot that. No. Okay, fine. So now tell me, till now the file system is clear, that how to use the file system? No, 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 man. No. The file constructor is used to create the file type object. Fine. The create new file will create a new file onto the system. Onto the system. And what is the return type of the file constructor and what is the return type of create new file? Just look at here. F dot create new file. What is the return type? You can see here, Boolean. Yes, the return type is different. The file constructor will return the files object. Create new file will return Boolean. If the file is created successfully, then you will get the answer as true. Otherwise, you will get the return as false. So both are not creating file. Actually, create new file will create a file. File constructor will create an object of the file type which is pointing to that file. Got it? In which situation you will get the file? Okay. So I'll show you this one. I hope this make more clarity. Now look at here. I'm going to create this file. So you are getting false. Why? Because this file is already in existence. Yes or no? Okay. One more thing. In which situation you can get the false? There is one situation also available. Suppose you want to create a file at a location where you don't have the permission. Where you don't have the permission to create a file. Are you getting? So in that case, yes, admin, you can say. So the admin has the permission to create the file at root directories, nested directories. So in that case, you can get the false also. That file will not create at the location because you don't have the permission. So that's why this throws the exception type, IO exception. Got it? So let me check that. One more thing. C and program files, no, Windows. Let me check that within the Windows folder, can we create a file? I'm going to copy and paste over here. And here, copy and paste. Let me execute this one. Can you see this? I hope this will make more clarity about the IO exception type. Because why we are getting this error exception? Because access is denied. The user is not permitted to create a file into the Windows folder. Got it? Okay. So this is the file system, and it is very important to remember all the methods and the situation when it will come, then you need to use it. And I will give you some situation where you will use these file system when we will run some part of the advanced Java. Okay. Now come to the array. And after that, I have noted down that file filter is not covered yet. Okay. So I will explain those things, but not today. Okay. So what is array and how to use the array in Java? Only few things are different. Okay. One is with respect to the previous languages like C and C++, array is an object in Java, first thing. Okay. Either you are creating the array of primitive types, or you are creating the array of reference type. All the array that you will create will be an object of type array, will be an object. So in Java, arrays are objects, first thing. Okay. And array can hold the values as primitive or object references. So arrays are objects in Java that store multiple variables of the same type. So this is the definition of the array. Array can hold either primitives or object references, but the array itself will always be an object. And where? On the heap. As we know that objects created into the heap object, heap memory area, so it will be on the heap. Even if the array is declared to hold the primitives. So as I told you, that it doesn't matter that which type of the value you want to hold. Array can hold primitives and the array can hold the object references, but that array will be create on the heap memory area. Next, generally syntax for the array declaration and creation are two things. Actually, there are two parts to create an array, and we can create an array in one line also. Okay, so array are declared by stating the type of the element that array will hold, the type of the element. So the syntax can be for array declaration. Look at here. I will write here. Syntax could be type, okay, and then the name of the array, and bracket. This is called the declaration. Is it visible? Is it visible that I am typing? Okay. So declaration means when you state the type, okay, and the name of the array, and at the time of declaration, remember this point, at the time of declaration, we don't mention the size, otherwise you will get the error. Fine. For example, what is the example of this? As we have already studied and we have already learned about it, that there are two types of the data. One is called the primitives and second one is called non-primitives, like object and classes. Okay, so type could be of your any primitive or your reference. So if I want to create an object of int type, then I can write int. This is the type. Array name is a, then I will write only this one. This is the declaration. If I have a class test and want to create an array of that type, then I will write the test x and this one. Yes, tell me, these two statements are clear? Okay. Sorry. So this is the primitive declaration. This is the reference declaration. So as we know that we have two types of data. One is primitive and second one is the non-primitive. So in primitive, you can have all 8, and non-primitive, any class. Suppose a string. A string is also a class. So I will write a string s and array. This is also a valid declaration. Now, when you declare any array, after that, you need to construct an array. This is only the declaration. You haven't create any array. So now come to creation. So at the time of creation, what we do, if you are writing in 2 steps, I'm telling you. First, we write name of the array. Name of the array, okay, is equal new. The type, and within the bracket, we mention the length of the array or size of your array. This is. So this is the syntax to create an array. So we'll take the previous example. We have declared integer a. Look at here. I need to create the array into the heap that will be held by your a. So what will I do? Example is We will write A is equal, the name of the array is A is equal new, the type of A is int, then size, that is 5. Okay, suppose test x is equal, so I will write x is equal new test, and remember this one, I'm not calling any constructor. Sometime a student gets confused that I'm calling the constructor. No, this is only the references that you are creating. This will create the object of arrays, but not the object of test, not the object of the test. Okay, so I'll create the 5 size. So this is the way. Or you can create a string. So s is equal new a string, the size of this one. Fine. So this is the way that you declare. This is the way that you create any array. So these are 2 steps, or we can combine it also. If we combine this one, that we don't need to write in 2 lines and 2 steps. So the syntax, what will be the syntax? Look at here, just combine it. So first we will write this one and combining, okay, is equal this one, copy and paste. For example, oh, tab is on, type is int, variable name is a, this one is equal new, what is the type? That is int. What is the size? 5. Got it? Just tell me. I'm only explaining that how to declare the array and create the array. Fine. Now few points that you need to remember. If you have declared the primitive types of array, which type? Primitive type means, the primitive types means byte, short, int, long, float, double, char, and boolean. Okay, these are the primitive types. So when you construct the array, I'm telling you, construct the array. After construction, it will be applicable. When we construct the array, so as we know, the indexing will be happen. Okay, and index always starts from 0. Index starts from where? 0 to size -1, isn't it? So it means we will have, in this case, the index 0, 1, then 2, 3, and 4. Fine. Got it? So in the case of primitives, if you construct any array, every index will initialize with the default value of that type. Got it? Every index will initialize with the default value of that type. So what is the default value of int? The default value of int is 0. So every index, so 0th index will initialize with 0, first index will 0, 20, 30, 40. This is the mean I want to say. Okay, if you have declared and create a constructor the type boolean, so every index will initialize with the value false. Why? Because the default value of boolean is false. What happens if we construct an array of reference type. So what is the default value of references? So we know that the default value of references and the reference is null. So every reference will initialize with null. Now come to this part, and the statement that I have already explained, we'll see with the example also. So integer a is equal new int, and I'll create 5. Okay. Okay, it is missing. And I will write the for I is equal 0, I is less than 5, and 5, and I plus plus, sorry, 5, and I plus plus. All the thing will remain same that you have already learned in C and C programming, C++ programming, that how to iterate. We'll start from the 0, go to the n minus 1, and we'll access every value by using the indexes of that array. So simple, write the AI, you will get the value, the default value. The default values of int is 0. In case of you have a Boolean, okay, so you need to change this also. So what is the value of default for the Boolean? That is false. Okay. Int I. Not getting. Int I. Okay, this syntax. Meng, you are asking? Yes. I'm not getting your question. Int I, what does mean? Okay, just type your question. In the meantime, I'll explain something else. So Boolean, this one. Now I'm going to create the reference of the string type in the next line. I will explain. I will write this one. A string s is equal new a string and the size 5. Again, we can write for loop int I is equal to 0, I is less than 5, comma I plus plus. And I'm assuming that you all know that how to iterate, how to get all the values from the array, indexing. Okay, so s of I, this one. Let's see that what is the output. So you can see that every reference is pointed by null and every default value for the primitives. Clear? Okay. One more point. When you create any array, this will also applicable after creation. When you create any array, there is a property which is associated with every array's object. And the property name is length. Length. And as we create array to the heap memory area, as we construct the array to the heap memory area, this length will be initialized by the size of your array. The size of your array. Okay. So in this case, what is the size of your array? That is 5. So length will initialize with 5. And it will happen with every array construction. As you construct the array, length will initialize. As you construct the new array, length will initialize. So this will be a property of this array. So we can access this property by the array name. So if you want to access the length of the array, you can write a dot length. Getting? You can get this property by calling a dot length. So if I'm writing the 5, I can write here a dot length. Or here I can write s dot length. So this will give you the same output. Getting? So in place of writing the constant value to iterate any array, we should write and we should use the length. Why we should use the length? Because Java provides one more facility, that you can decide the size of array at runtime also. At runtime means, let's suppose we are asking the user to enter the length of array. So integer n, and I'm taking the input from the user, and user says that it is 10. I'm not writing the scanner. Okay, just understand this point. If you're not getting point, then I can write the scanner, then we can take the size, and after that we can write this one. So I'm asking that what is the size of array you want? So user says 10. Okay, so here we can pass n. So if user input 10, now your array will create with the size of n. If user input n is equal 5, so now your array will create with the size of 5. And when you use a dot length, it will access the size of your array. Okay, so it could be anything, 10, 20, 50. Okay, then you can say that if the user is saying that n is equal to 5, so in place of a dot length we can write n. Yes, you can write n, but what happened in this case? Suppose after few lines of the code, by mistake you are writing n is equal to 20. So what happened in this case? So the best practice is to use the length property. So got it? I hope this point is also clear. So we should use the length of any array to get the length of that array. So these are few points which you have to remember when you create any array and to store the values. Few things are also there with the array. We'll discuss tomorrow, not today. And after that, we'll go for few new topics. Yeah. So till now, for the today's session and the previous session that we have already discussed, if you have any questions, query, then put your queries. Otherwise, we'll wind up this session. We'll meet tomorrow, 8 a.m. IST. 8 a.m. IST means 9:30 EST, is it? 9:30 p.m. EST? Meng? 8, no. Tomorrow, 8 a.m. IST. Morning. In India, it will be morning. So IST. I'm asking IST. 8 a.m. IST. 8 a.m. IST. So I guess in EST it will be 9:30 p.m. Okay. So will it be fine for all of you that 9:30? Okay. So one session, just note down. One session we will have 9:30 p.m. EST. Okay. And another one session we will have 9:30 a.m. EST. Got it? So tomorrow we'll have two session on Sunday. Yes. Will it be fine? Yes. So 8 a.m. IST and 8 p.m. IST, both. 8:30 p.m. EST would be fine. 9:30 p.m. is late. So 8:30 p.m. IST means 7 in the morning, Sunday. Okay, I'm talking in terms of yes. Just let me, Meng, wait. Um, 9:30 p.m. EST. Will it be fine? Meng says fine. What about Justin? Okay, so Induja. Okay. Uh, could you manage, Induja? And another timing is the same timing that we started today. 9. Let me 9:30. 1 second.